G'day, I'm MP Numbers, and welcome to the very first FNMPN, Friday night with Magic Player Numbers. Basically, the idea is I'm going to take a bit of time out of my Friday night to sit down with you, talk about what's happening in Magic news, let you know my thoughts on the subject, and ask for yours so we can have a bit of a conversation about it. This week, we've been lucky because the big thing that happened was the Dominaria leak. Now, if you don't want to talk about spoilers, if you don't want to know what's happening, probably not the best video for you. I'm not going to talk about every single card. I'm going to talk about some mechanics, my thoughts on them, what's good, what's bad, what's whatever. Obviously, if you agree, disagree, or just want to chat and tell me how right or wrong I am, please jump into the comments. Let me know. Happy to have a conversation about anything I talk about, plus want to hear some more from you. Look, let's just jump straight into it. I'm going to start with something I don't like, and to be honest, that's the leak itself. Now, this isn't the first time that information's been leaked. We're about a month and a half out from when we would normally start getting the information, and it's annoying because Wizards does do a lot of work to bring the narrative, to really explore what's happening, to make sure we get the information in the right order so we understand what's happening and can really dive into it with them. Now, in saying that, the leak was from Wizards themselves, and I'm pretty sure it's not intentional. I don't see any benefit for them doing it now, but I'd prefer it to be from them than some douchebag at a printing company, some store or owner who's opened packs and just trying to get some views, money, likes, whatever it may be they're trying to get out of it. It is Wizards. They've come out, they've admitted they've screwed up, and that's probably the one good thing about this is the way they've handled it. They've come out, they've said, look, we messed up, we made a mistake, it sucks it happened this way, but as they've said, there's more to come, and even reading through the spoilers myself, I'm still excited to see what they bring out. You know, sure, we've seen a bunch of cards, we've seen the mechanics, we've seen a few things that are happening, but we haven't seen artworks, we haven't seen the new borders. They talked about a new way to play, which I didn't think there was many new ways to play. I thought they'd all been sorted out. So props to Wizards for the way they handled it. Shame it had to happen in the first place. But let's just see what happens, you know? It's worth noting that the full release notes, which normally comes out after the set's been revealed, probably a couple of days before the pre-release to give you a few rules and specifics around some cards and abilities, is available on the Wizards mothership. Blake Rasmussen, probably pronounced wrong, has done an article up about it and explained what's going on and just said, look, it's out there, so let's just put it out there. I've had a look through that. That's where all my information's coming from today. And the first thing that I noticed that, again, not really a big fan of, is right at the top, where it says that the 269 cards in this set, one of them is going to be a unique promotional card only available as a buy a box promo. Now, buy a box promos have been around for a while, as long as I can remember, but it was always an alternate art promo. It was always something that you didn't have to specifically buy a box to get, but it was a nice little twist. It was a nice little different artwork, full art card, special watermark on it, things like that. But compare these release notes to other previous release notes, and I can confirm that none of them say this text, so it is definitely a card that the only way you can get it besides the secondary market is to get a buy box promo. Hopefully it's not a super powerful format staple card. Hopefully it's something that's just collector's item that collectors are happy to look for. I don't like the idea that if I wanted to get it without doing heavy trading or secondary market purchasing, I'd have to buy 4 booster boxes from 4 different stores, because most stores have a 1 per customer purchase. Not sure what's happening there. Moving on from that, the release note shows a few things that are coming back. Kicker's back. Kicker, for those of you who weren't around before, it's an ability where you pay a little bit extra when a creature or spell is cast, and it does an extra thing. It may come in with extra counters. You may draw a card if you spend a little bit of mana on it. We're also getting the original Innistrad checklands. Now, for you standard players, this is pretty positive. It means that for a while, you're going to have access to all 10 checklands, and your metabase is probably going to be a bit nicer. My first thoughts when looking through the spoilers is that it's going to be a very colourful standard with 3, 4+ colour decks. So we probably just need the mana there to help those decks happen. From what we can see with the abilities in the spoilers, Dominaria is going to be a very Legends matter set with a lot of things focusing on legendaries. And most notably, every single pack is going to have a legendary creature in it at least, as well as legendary enchantments, legendary artifacts, legendary spells. Get to that in a second. So there's going to be tons of them. And it's probably worth noting that from now on, all legendary cards are going to have a modified card frame or different border is the best way to look at that. So you'll be able to see exactly what is a legendary, what's not a legendary when you're looking at your board. Overall positive thing, doesn't change the game at all. One thing that isn't specifically outlined in all the card descriptions over here is the rarity of the cards. So I'm assuming that we're going back to a Kamigawa and or Legends set where the Legends are going to be where the legends are moving away from being just rare and mythic, and we're going to be seeing common and uncommon legendaries, because you just can't justify every single pack having a legendary. And the next thing to talk about is the legendary sorceries. Now, basically, a legendary sorcery is a sorcery that you can only cast if you control a legendary creature. As a limited player, I'm very hesitant, because legendary creatures, we don't know how thick they'll be. There seems to be tons of them, and as I mentioned, they're probably going to be at multiple rarities. But where's the line? You know, we're guaranteed at least 24 legendaries in a draft, so 3 average per player. Obviously a little bit more if you're drafting legendary matters, but I'm honestly, again, as a drafter, curious about how often legendary sorcery are going to play, being that it is literally uncastable if you don't have a legendary creature. I think it's a cool idea, and it's probably great for constructed. I'm sure we'll cast them in limited, but I just don't know how many of these legendary sorceries are going to be. I'm guessing 1 for each of the named big legends. Yeah, I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. Again, there's a whole bunch more stuff sticking with the legendary themes. The 2 new mechanics, I don't know if they're mechanics, because mechanics, keywords, the words all mean the same thing to me, but they actually mean different things technically. The other big thing that is affected by legendaries is historic. For example, they've spoiled Jori here, one of the big talked about ones that people were interested. I'm not excited. It's a 2 blue-red 3/3 legendary. Whenever you cast a historic spell, you draw a card. Now, historic means any artifact, legendary spell, whether it be creature, planeswalker, sorcery, artifact, whatever it may be, or a saga, which again, we'll get to in a second. They're historic. So you're going to be, again, in a legendary matters deck, you're going to be drawing some cards. As a limited player, it might draw you a card or 2, depending on how heavy you stack those legendary decks and how many legendaries are in each booster. Card seems a bit underwhelming for me. I'd love to know what you think. Now, the last new mechanic to talk about is Saga. Now, Saga is an enchantment type, which basically you build up the chapters and you get a new ability. So for example, here's my Saga card. I play it, I get a counter on it. Level 1, Chapter 1 happens. Chapter 1 gives me a 2/2 Night Token with Vigilance. My opponent has their turn, I untap, I draw, I put another counter on it, and I'm at Chapter 2. Chapter 2, so it happens again on this one, we're going to put a Night Token into play. Finally, it's my 3rd turn, I put my 3rd counter on it, I trigger the ability, I sacrifice this, and then all my knights get +2/+1. I'm assuming this will be a cycle, probably 1 card for each colour. Don't know for sure yet. I haven't looked through each individual card yet, but it seems pretty cool. As long as they're costed right, they have an effect when they come into play, and a longer effect the longer they last, unless your opponent has straight up enchantment removal. There's obviously a lot of little rules around it, the way the counters work, but that's pretty much the sum of it. It seems pretty cool. So those are the main takeaways I took. Again, I haven't looked through every single card mentioned in the individual card area, because there is quite a few of them, and I just kind of looked at it on the bus on the way home today. They were my big takeouts. I'm excited for Dominaria. I'm excited for Spoiler Season, even though this has ruined it a little bit. I'm still excited to see the art. The art that we have seen, like the key arts that have come out, look really awesome, and hopefully all these legendary creatures and legendary permanents and legends have a unique and consistent art style. When I think of art failures in the last while, the black card that's supposed to show Gideon being held down by 2 men, the guy looks nothing like Gideon. That just annoys me. There's a character that is supposed to be the focal point here. It really needs to be instantly recognizable. Hopefully they've got the same artists doing the same characters. I don't know. A couple of other things worth mentioning: the fact that mana pool's not going to be mentioned on cards, so instead of saying add green to your mana pool, it's just going to say add green. There is a change happening with the way that you damage planeswalkers, which I think is mostly positive, except for the fact that I think like 700 cards are getting errated, which is going to affect new players. Cards that used to say creature or player now say any creature or any target, meaning that you directly target the planeswalkers, unless the card says each opponent, or if the burn spell is affected by, so if it deals damage to a player equal to the number of cards they have in hand, you cannot target a planeswalker because a planeswalker is not a player. Some new spells moving forward will specifically say creature or planeswalker, or player or planeswalker, or creature or player, but otherwise they're all errata to say any target. Obviously double check with your judges before you start just throwing spells at places, but overall it should be good. Final thing to talk about, it's been talked about a lot in social media, is that the fact that Wizards have decided to take away from he, she, his, hers, and they're talking about they and theirs, which is not a big deal. And if you think it's a big negative deal that is going to hurt you and affect you and make you sad, just don't. Seriously, it's something that takes nothing away from you and gives something to some people. That's my thoughts on Dominaria. Now, if you have had a chance to read through the release notes and you've seen something really cool, like if there's a creature or a spell that you really want to let us know about, chuck it in the comments. If you have any thoughts about anything I've said and the way I feel about things, chuck it in the comments. I'll get back in there, I'll talk to you about it, I'll bring it up. As I said, FNMPN is something that I plan on doing every week, different topics, different news things. If you think of anything that you want me to bring up, chuck it in Twitter with the hashtag FNMPN. It's right there. If you find any cool clips from streamers, if you have any cool YouTube videos that have come out this week, let me know. Or if you have any questions, if you want to know my opinion on something, chuck it on Twitter, hashtag FNMPN. Let me know. I'll answer the best I can within time frame, trying to get in about 10 minutes of time. This one's probably gone a bit over. And don't forget, if you do have any intention of attending a MTG Grand Prix this year, I do have a golden ticket to be given away, which will be drawn about a week from now. Check out the link in the description. Channel Fireball fantastically donated it, and basically somebody is getting a free entry to a Grand Prix. There is no cost involved in entering. Get on it, get involved, make sure you've got your name in the hat to hopefully get a chance. And don't forget, catch me at twitch.tv/MP Numbers. I stream every Saturday night Australian time, plus just kind of whenever I can. Find me on Twitter, I'll announce whenever I'm about to go live. That's been FNMPN. Have a great weekend.